Hey everyone, this is the Heroes Podcast. I'm so happy to be here. I've got Palafox today. He from Mexico today. How are you, Pau?
I'm fine, thank you, and I hope you're too, and I'm excited. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so excited. But before we jump into your story, I wanted to introduce you so people get to know who you are. And obviously, then we'll dive into your story. So, Pao is a Pinterest marketing strategist, manager, and educator for coaches, service providers, and creatives with graphic design and general marketing around helping online business owners reclaim their time while doing marketing the easy way on a platform where people actively searching for what they offer. Ooh, I'm going to learn something here today. I'm not even on a Pinterest, so I think this is going to work out. Well done and welcome on the show. I'm so happy. Do you want to take us back to the beginning or to a hard start or back to your childhood? It's really up to you, but uh, tell us where you're coming from, what's your background?
Yeah, yes, I love to. So when I was transitioning, let's say, into becoming an adult, and I had moved in with my partner and everything, we were living in a like a building in the middle of nowhere. It was cheap and everything, and I was able to kind of like make a living between his income and my income with some small graphic design gigs. But at the time, the area became unsafe, we could say, and we had to leave. And if you want to live in a better, a safe neighborhood, you have to spend more money on rent, let's say, right? So it wasn't going to be enough to have his income and my current income. So I was thinking of getting a job. And sadly, am actually a college dropout, so I didn't really have any career or anything to get a different job rather than a call center. And that's what I was doing. I got a job at a call center, and it at the beginning it wasn't so bad. I mean, it was from home, and I could just stay there. But the thing is, it started to feel like I was in customer support and tech support and customer service. And the problem is that there was this internet company that I'm not going to mention, but yeah, but it was bad. It was really bad. It was a terrible service, and you got people all day calling, to ask for help, and you can hear the desperation in their voice, right? Like it's not working, and you're over here like, come on, guys, just send the tech guy. You have to be authorized to send the tech guy by your superiors. And my superior at the time, we had a great relationship. She would just let me do my thing and that. But the problem is we were in different schedules. So at some point I was under different supervisors, and those supervisors wouldn't let me do my thing and wouldn't let me send the tech guy. So you are in the phone call just having the conversation with people and noticing how desperate they are and how you are here with your hands tied and you cannot do anything, so you are now part of the problem instead of the solution. And yeah, so it went like that for a few months, and I started to get a little there was a little negative self-talk going on, like now I'm part of the problem. Now is this all that I can do? I can do anything else. I am not helping people, and this is just bad. And even though I was bad, I was kind of getting used to it, because again, I thought I wasn't good for anything else. And yeah, months went by, and then I found this interesting. Pinterest was always like my safe space, that is for inspiration and home decor and positivity. And yeah, so yeah, it was my happy place. Whenever I will have a chance to just be outside doing my work, because it consumed my whole day. It was like, you guys know it, like a 9 to 5. For me, it was like a 12 to 11 p.m. And so yeah, yeah, it was terrible. Like, you just unplug from the computer and you say, okay, it's over, go to sleep. But another part of you is thinking of all the things that went wrong. So Pinterest, it was all peace and happy things. It's all positive, and they're very careful with the content that is there, that is all positive and inspiring. So one day, when I was already like kind of praying on the inside to the universe to see if there was some way to change things around to make things better, and I was coming across some nice quotes about being able to make a change and taking charge and things like that. And then just one day, randomly, I believe, like I was already interested in how Pinterest worked. I just didn't know at the time. And one day I came across one pin, and a pin is an image or a video. In this case, it was an image, and those go directly to a website, wherever you wanted to go, a blog post, a website, or a podcast episode, maybe. So I tap on it, and I ended up finding a program where I could become a Pinterest manager. The title was Pinterest VA originally, and work from home. And I was already considering something like that because I was like, okay, I can learn something different. So I don't have to say I'm not good for anything else. I can learn something different and be good for something else. And like I think that the straw that broke the camel's back, that's how you said it, is that at the time I found out I was pregnant. And I have my kid now. It's he's almost 3. But at the time I was like, okay, I'm all day here, plugged into the computer. I'm pregnant. The baby's gonna be here any moment. How am I gonna handle this? Like, how am I gonna have my baby if my baby needs me and I have to be here plugged into the computer all day? And I mean, my partner was at home with me. Is he still at home with me? And he helps me with everything. He's wonderful. He's an amazing man. But I was like, how am I gonna juggle the mom life and the job? So at the time, I probably did something irresponsible, but I had to. It felt like an intuitive nudge. And so let's say I had some savings in my bank account from my job, and I saw this program, right? And I was like, you know how you're sometimes in the right in the cliff looking at the bottom, and you're like, I have to go there, I have to go there, I have to go there. And I was talking to my partner, and thank God he's very, very, very supportive. And I was like, I like to invest in this program, and I'd like to learn this skill, and I'd like to build a business around it. And he was like, okay, okay. And then I just signed up for the program, and yeah, it was worth it. It was scary because it was all that I had in my savings at the time, but I could say that it was absolutely worth it. And I learned how to be a Pinterest manager. I learned how to do my Pinterest, and I started to build a business around it. I'm not going to say that it worked right away because there is some ups and downs at the beginning, but at the end I became something different. Like, I was no longer the girl who is on the other side of the line who can help you and keep you frustrated. I was now somebody who has a skill, who can learn new things, not just Pinterest, just any other things. Like, you can change things around. So the thing is, sometimes you are in such a survival mode kind of thing that you forget that you are in charge, that you can make a choice and you get to choose the life that you want, and you get to expand and keep growing, right? So yeah, that's how that part started. And yeah, at the moment, I didn't know how to start a business, of course. So I just follow this girl who, because you know how the universe starts unfolding things around you, like, yes, you're in the right path.
Mm.
And and you start seeing more synchronicities, and even you start coming across things that you never encountered before in your life. And there was this girl, I'm always going to remember her. I actually wrote her a letter on social media because she was part of that inspiration. So she was talking in a video, YouTube video, about how she was at my age, crying in her desk, hating her life in a job that she hated. And I was like, oh my God, that's me. And she's real. You can actually Google her. I think she used to call herself the freelance fairy, and she was teaching people how to become a freelancer, how to build a freelance business. and I kind of learned from her, and yeah, so I I took her suggestions and I signed up for Fiverr. Fiverr is like a freelance platform, and people hire people on Fiverr for, let's say, a small amount of money, and they'll leave you reviews, and then you can get more clients and more clients and more clients. It's like you don't have to host your own website, because at the time I couldn't afford to have, the hosting and the legal pages and domain and things like that. So at the moment I started there, and I believe that's an important thing. Not that everything has to be perfect, because we are like perfectionists and we want everything to be perfect before we get started. But I do believe that you have to use the resources that you have and choose to move forward, no matter whatever things look like on the outside. And yeah,
Absolutely.
I set up my Fiverr. I actually lost 2 clients on Fiverr because I didn't know how to use Fiverr and I didn't know how to use the inbox. So months later, I found the request there, but I was like, okay, well, now I know how to use it. Now I know that the inbox was there. And eventually, I signed up on the advice of my mentor, the person who taught me Pinterest marketing. She was telling us to use Facebook groups. And I was like, huh, Facebook. I haven't used Facebook in a while. So it was a journey. I created another different account from the one that I had that I didn't use. And I was like, okay, this one is gonna be for business specifically. And I started joining Facebook groups. I remember that, like I said again, the universe unfolds things for you wonderfully. And I found my favorite Facebook group, which at the time used to be called Women Entrepreneurs Referral and Barter Network. Now it's called We Meet Wednesdays, and it's for women who own businesses to network.
Mm.
So I met one of my best friends there at the beginning of my journey, and she happens to be a business strategist. So, right, like just the people that is meant to be in your life is just suddenly there. And she taught me a lot of things. She set up a landing page for me, so I didn't have to be on Fiverr, and Fiverr taking 20% of my job. So yeah, that was one thing. And from there, I just started meeting people, and it was interesting because I was always an introvert, like a very hardcore introvert, the kid that sits at the back and never raises her hand and everything. And suddenly I was just meeting people. And when you meet more people, who by the way are, positive people, people who bring something to the table, and people who are inspiring and have their stories too, and their challenges, and they're sharing, and you're like, oh my god, it's wonderful that I get to meet these people. Something happens to you. I cannot explain it, but you start to grow with them in a way. So yeah, that was pretty much how the Pinterest marketing happened. Also, they became my friends. They became also referrals, because that's the thing with networking. People can refer you sometimes, and yeah, that's pretty much how it went. I started meeting more people, and that's actually how we connected, right? Through networking and things like that. The same network, and yeah,
Oh,
that's
let me ask you something, Paul.
yes.
My understanding was, and now we're just going back to the past. My impression or my understanding was that, well, money was scarce. So in your childhood, well, unsafe place to live,
Mm-hmm.
living there because the rent is cheap. I would,
Yeah.
obviously I'm not here to categorize this, but I would say, well, let's say less than ideal money maps you could have in your head, or about having enough, or having a choice, or having abundance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you see yourself evolve from the old version of you who had seen and experienced scarcity, may I say,
Yeah.
scarcity and lack
Yes.
of resources, lack of safety, then slowly or rapidly moving to the new version of you who is running an online business? Like, tell us a bit more about what were the challenges and how did you overcome them to be the new you? Because my audience is somewhere in between.
Yeah. So for me, I believe it was a shift in my mindset. I used to see myself as a victim of the circumstances. I used to see myself as someone who was just gonna be there because things were the way they were on the outside. Like maybe I had to, like I have low resources, like you said, and maybe I was destined to have low resources. Maybe a different life wasn't for me. And now, as things change and everything, I saw how it's not that hard. Like there are some core beliefs that you carry from childhood that you change not just because you want to change it, but because you actually witness that those are lies, that you were just believing lies. And it's not true. It's like, wow. Like when I was growing up, I wanted to be, let's say, a teacher, I believe I wanted to be. And my mother, who was a little, I'm sure she meant it in a like in a loving way, you know, how they want to protect you in their way of seeing things. And she used to tell me things like, well, teachers don't really make much more money. And I was like, well, whatever, things like that. My mom would say things like that. And she will also say that mostly people who make more money are people who go out and meet people and have connections and everything. And she was like, you're antisocial. How are you gonna make a living, right? And I was like, yeah, yeah. So things like that. And I believe those things to be true. I was like, yeah, well, I identified myself as someone who is antisocial. I identified myself as someone who came from let's say a low income or steady, how do you call that, like a medium class average family. Like I wasn't meant for something more. And yeah, things like that. And I believe that. I believe that for a very, very, very long time. Like when I was in the call center, I believed I wasn't good for anything else. And one day things change, and I'm like, wow, I am a person who can actually go out and meet people, and people aren't scary. And I am someone who can change things around no matter what things look like. And I am someone who can just learn a new skill if I want to and put myself out there if I want to, and I don't have to be afraid, and it's gonna be okay. And I can just build something for my own, and I can have the lifestyle that I want. Like one of the things that I want, other than money, of course, because everybody needs money, but the one thing that I wanted more, in contrast from the lifestyle that I had when I was in the call center, that I was all day there, is that I wanted freedom. I wanted time. Because I wanted to be with my baby and I wanted to be with my partner, and it was just not easy with the work with the call center, because I was all day literally just, I will wake up and I will be in the computer because I hated my life and I didn't want to be awake. Like I will just go and plug myself into the computer and unplug at night, and that was it. So now I see that things are different because I changed the way I see myself. I changed the way I see things. I know that it wasn't true that you cannot change things around. It's not true that you cannot learn, different things and take charge.
How powerful. And tell me, what was the time frame for you to start out from your old self, and then I understand it probably have been or has been a gradual
Yeah. Yes.
process, but
Yes.
I'm thinking like how many people are stuck in old mindsets, and you have not told me that you hired someone specific, although you told me you had mentors along and they just almost showed up when you needed by coincidence, which we know coincidences do not exist. They are perfect alignment.
Exactly.
But then somehow you have been assigned or sent amazing people, and I'm guessing they may have had the beliefs, or they already lived the beliefs that you needed to take on and adopt. Do you want to speak to this
Yes, I'd love to.
transformation?
Yes, so yeah, it's really hard to a limiting belief. Like even now, there like after all that has happened, you still can have some limiting beliefs remaining that you have to work on. But yes, it started out with a choice to like before everything happened, before everything started aligning, it's a choice that you make, and that's how the synchronicities and the things and the places and the people starts coming your way. And yeah, these people that I met, they were, I don't think they were extroverts, and that's something that I kind of related to. Like they would not describe themselves as extroverts, and I was a very shy person. Like I remember one of them at the first networking group that I attended. Someone was so like, I love your energy, just to make me feel comfortable, because she noticed how I was, and she was just seeing how people was, and yeah, so they were not necessarily extroverts, but they were making the effort to put themselves out there, and I admire that, and I wanted to do that too. So that was one thing. The other thing is that there was this friend of mine who, well, we became friends along the way, but she was so confident. She still is so confident, and just the way she shows up on social media, just the way she will say things and talk about their lives, and all the other friends also, because I have a lot of business friends, and I see what they post on social media and how they allow themselves to be vulnerable and share their story, and that always inspired me. Like I didn't know how to do that at first, but I was like, I'm gonna do that. I want to. Like that's something that I want to do too. And how they will also tell their story about how their minds have changed, how they went through a dark moment and then they transitioned into being a business owner, and how just they were just showing up no matter what. Like they will show up, show up. Because see, when you start a business, and let's say, to give you that example, the first networking event, that's meeting people. And like I said, if you are identifying yourself as someone who is hardcore introvert and antisocial, you might not want to go there. But there is an answer that is like, okay, this is serious. This is business, and this is your life, because now the business provides, So you have to take this serious and take that step. And it's gonna be uncomfortable, maybe. And it wasn't actually. When I stepped to the networking event, I was like, oh, it wasn't so bad. It was actually nice people. But the very first, I don't want to do that, that little the little grumpy voice in your head, like, no, no, I don't want to do that. And you're like, no, 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 but we have to get step out of the comfort zone. Is
Hmm.
what it says. Yeah.
It's very
Um,
insightful. It's very insightful what you're saying. So turn that challenge into play, or
mhm,
like I sometimes come across people who say, "Oh, I'm not that kind of person."
mhm,
You know, my question is then, well, you want these results. Are you
exactly.
open to become that like person who can
Exactly.
get those results? You don't have to, but you become that person to have those results. There's no other way.
Exactly. It's how bad do you want it? How bad
So
do you want
I
it?
yeah, I get to. I'm not the nice guy. Uh, I'm not saying I'm very confrontational. I'm also call myself carefrontational. So I obviously I maintain love and unconditional love, and
Yes.
because it's not my responsibility, but it is my responsibility to have someone to face the facts that,
Hmm.
if you are acting from your old identity and your old beliefs, then you predestined to repeat the old results. It's not
Exactly.
rocket science. What would you say to someone who is, well, a bit too shy, a bit too, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. The next event, the avoidance patterns are running their life and lack of results probably. What are the three, four things you would recommend them that they could do right now?
That they just do it, they just go and take that step. And there's, well, I mean, there are some things that you can do physically when you are about to get into the networking, like maybe breathing and sitting in a comfortable position, and like if you're going to, if you know that you're going to talk, just like kind of ground yourself, like you can maybe grab the arms of your chair to feel safer. I do that, that's okay. I do that. And like, when, for example, whenever I'm going to a networking or maybe a summit and I'm going to be speaking, do you remember that summit where we had the presentation with Summer? I like, I told somebody who now is going to be a speaker, like she was like, what do you recommend? And I was like, take off your shoes. Nobody's gonna
Really?
see that. Yeah, I took off my shoes and I was sitting in the couch, like leaning in, like very comfortable, and nobody sees that. But that made me feel comfortable, and that sent my body a sign that everything is okay. So it's like, reflecting that back to your mind.
I really love that
So,
because these are fairly new tips that I haven't heard before. Like I do believe that changing your like your how you hold your body and how you breathe and what you focus on.
mhm,
Or we could even, I have some people sometimes to just literally set off an emotional state of, you know, I'm here to serve. It's not about me. It's about uh, their business. It's about serving them the best way and then opening up to channel information if that's the case, or download.
mhm,
And I don't even need to know what's going on here. Sometimes I do have that experience, but obviously it does take a level of composure, a level of congruency
mhm,
to show up and have that. I think there is a field of confidence around people who have done the talk, not just talking the talk, but walking the walk.
mhm.
Do you want to expand on this a bit for
Yes,
everyone?
I want to so much, because there is a moment where you say that you are here to serve, right? And that's the thing. Everybody's here to serve, and everybody comes to this world with a gift. And some lucky people know it since the beginning. Some of us find it along the way, but we're here to with a gift to share with the world, and it's our responsibility to show up, like you said. So yeah, if people are shy and they are very introverted and all those things, I will still say you gotta show up. Not for you. Don't do it for you if you don't want to, but do it for the people you're here to serve.
And let me ask you this.
Hmm.
It's the question is sort of it's circling around in my head. Like, how have you said? I think it's mom or one of your parents didn't have that much money. Like, have mom or dad changed or shifted, or maybe your siblings, or they are living that same reality? Like what do you see happening in your family, or have you moved almost there is a gap in between you now?
I believe so. It's just I think of my parents as being well off. My dad was always economically better off than my mom, but I think she's fine. Like, if like for everything that you need to, to have a nice life and everything, like she's fine, I will say, and so is my dad. My siblings, I don't know. My sister might be a little bit of a spender, but she also saves money, so I think she's fine. And my little brother, well, he's still too little to handle money. Perhaps he's a kid. I have a like a very. He's not even 10 years old. He's 8 this year, so. And for me, I believe that I was kind of surviving in a way when I first moved in with my partner, and we were like handling, and we were like, okay, we will get to the end of the month and we're okay, but definitely it's not like the lifestyle that my parents had, for example, right? Like, so my parents were very established in their careers and everything, and I was like, what, 19, 20. So, and I also didn't have a career, so it was, I believe that I maybe couldn't get a good job or anything because I didn't have a career. That's something that is always said in your family or school or everything, that you need a career to make a living. So, which is
Yeah.
not true, by the way, and now you can see that with all the business owners out there. But yeah,
And
so yeah, that was it. The gap now is different because now I have my time. What I wanted more than anything, it was time, and I have it, thank God. And yeah, the money is like, I'm here with my partner. We're stay-at-home parents. My kid is all right. He's healthy. He's growing strong and everything. So
well done. I really congratulate, and
thank
I
you.
love these inspiring stories of, wow, starting off from scarcity and drop that to unlock standard of living or even lifestyle at
Mhm.
your age is really a fantastic story. Like probably you heard it took me 43 years to even come to close to, yeah, stepping away from the past and reset my life. And I needed a lot of help from coaches and mentors. Like
Mm.
I was still probably on a self-destructive pattern. I was so strong, lack of believing in myself, lack of self-worth. And tell us, like, how do you help people now? Who is your ideal audience? Like, are these business owners, business leaders who have never been on Pinterest and they now want to crush it, or are your clients already on Pinterest and they just don't get leads or turnover? What? Tell us. How do you serve? Who you serve?
Pretty much all of them. So there are people who like are trying to do all their social media and they try to get on Pinterest and they're trying to approach Pinterest like they will approach, let's say, Instagram, and they realize it's not working. So that's one pool of people. You see, they're different. The platforms are different. They have certain similarities, like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok maybe have similarities, but when it comes to Pinterest, it's a little different with how things work. And there are people who have never heard that Pinterest could be used for business. Like they're like, wait, isn't Pinterest like for recipes and home decor? And I'm like, yeah, they're making a lot of money with their blogs and affiliate links. So that's other pool of people like, oh, I didn't know it was for business. And I'm like, yeah, it is. And so, yeah, there are other people who maybe have already, I've also worked with people who were already on Pinterest, but at some point that they had to stop because, I don't know, they had the person who was managing their account and something happened, they parted ways. And that's where I come in, like to temporarily replace that person. So yeah, that's how I help people. And what I do for them with Pinterest, like the thing for the everyone in the audience who doesn't know what's going on with Pinterest and what's the deal, is that whenever you are putting out your content, Pinterest is a visual search engine. So that means that people search and the platforms show some results based on what you search for. And also the algorithm remembers what you were searching for and what you interested and what you interacted with to show you more of that content later on, all automatically. And so when you are putting your content and somebody is searching for that, let's say somebody has, can I use it as an example?
Sure.
Okay, so, thank you. Okay, so let's say somebody has issues with self-worth and maybe they have a negative narrative, right? And maybe you have a piece of content, let's say like maybe a quote that could help, or an actual blog post or an actual video that can, help you manage those and get out of that narrative and shift it to a more positive one. And then someone who is searching for that, like how do I become more confident in myself, right? Comes across your content because you're in that, like in that area, that niche, let's say, and that's how they find you. And if they were coming across your content, your pin, your piece of image or video, that goes straight to your website. And see, because in the thing with Instagram, there's nothing wrong with Instagram, I'm gonna say that. But social media doesn't like you when you put the links in your posts. Like they don't
Yeah.
want people leaving the platform. And
Yeah.
on Pinterest, the bridge is there. Pinterest is a bridge as it is. Like you just tap on the image and you're in the website. So if
Wow.
somebody comes across the content, then they can find you, your website. And ideally, you have something set up there, maybe a free guide, a resource, or something they can sign up for, and then they get into your email list. And remember, there are more and more and more people finding your content every day. So more and more people are landing on your website and getting into your email list. So
And
that's kind of how it works.
I'm sorry, I'm curious about. I don't know anything about Pinterest. So if you could tell us, like, how many people are maybe registered, and where is the main market? I'm guessing maybe US or UK. And are these um are people putting their videos and images, or
Yeah.
tell us something. Tell us the magic.
Yes. Oh yeah, I'm happy to suck Pinterest. Yes. So yeah, people, you can put images or video. Some people do really well with video because their audience is actually searching for video on Pinterest. So like
Mhm.
it's like how to do this video, right? That's how they search. So if your content is related to that and you can put that out, they're gonna find you. So yeah, it's video, images, and they both video and images can have a link that goes directly where you want it to go. It can be a blog post that expands on the piece of content, maybe a YouTube video, maybe a podcast episode, maybe directly a lead magnet, like sign up for this free guide. Maybe it's a homepage. It can be whatever you can think of. It's just as long as it's a thing of your content, like something that you own, right? Because you want to link something to something that you don't own. So yeah, that's the one thing that I need to kind of expand on first of all is that Pinterest being a search engine, we use something that are called keywords, and keywords are very important. I'm gonna tell you what a keyword is. So for anybody who's listening, you think of a word or a phrase that describes what you do or what your piece of content is about. Like how would you describe that to somebody? And you type that into your home feed in the search bar tool and see what pops up. Because when you're typing something on the search bar, it's kind of like Google, but on Pinterest. And you're typing something and some suggestions come up, but they're not random suggestions. Those are actual search terms that people are using. So you want to use those specific search terms in your description, in your titles, in your profile, so that Pinterest can pick up on where to put your content. So it's where they're searching for this specific thing, that's where my content should be. And Pinterest puts it there. And so people who are searching and have been searching for it, they can find it and they find you and they can tap on your piece of content and go straight to your website and maybe sign up for your email list if you have your systems in place.
I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited about Pinterest. Not that I knew its existence. I mean, I saw that, whenever sometimes there is a list of, oh, here are your social channels. I saw Pinterest there a few times, but probably a lot of businesses are still not taking
Aware.
a chance, so they are not aware of. But yeah, very useful information.
Thank you.
Tell me, how what have I not asked, Pau, that you really wanted to share today, and I didn't have the questions to make you say that you think it's important about you, how you serve, or yeah, about your message.
Well, there are two things I believe. It's kind of circling back to it, but about the scarcity mindset and shifting, I think that we should somehow understand that scarcity is not real. It's just a reflection and a projection of the limiting beliefs and the patterns that you have, and maybe you're not aware of it, and that's okay. Like have grace with yourself, like, oh my god, it took me so long to realize it. It's okay. It happens. Sometimes we need time to see things more clearly. So once you see that those were just like lies that you were believing, they kind of fall apart. and you see that there is actually abundance, and there is actually opportunities, and there is actually people. The people were always there. Like the people that I needed, the resources that I needed and that you need are always there available. It just starts with the choice and to just take that leap. And about Pinterest in general, like the way, you can say, the way that it connects to the story is that I wanted time, right? And I wanted to have my own business and have my own thing. But more than anything, I wanted time, and that's how I serve people now. I'm helping them reclaiming their time, and I can still get my time. So, because that's the thing, on Pinterest, when you're putting out your content, you don't have to be, I mean, for social media, there are schedules as well, but let's say that on Pinterest, you have a month, just you know what you want to put out in the month. Like maybe I want to put these 10 videos this month, but you don't have to be there every day putting out video one, video two, video three, video four. You can sit down once a week or once a month and you schedule your content, because some pictures, when you're creating the pin, you have this beautiful option that says publish at a later date. So you're just
Oh,
creating your pins, and you're just like putting one, and these ones go now, this other one goes on Tuesday, this other one goes on Wednesday, this other one, and so on and so forth. So what happens, those are scheduled, and those are going to go out whether you are there or not. And you can go outside and maybe just enjoy the sun and life and everything, learn new skills, because it's important to keep learning and expanding, and do whatever you want and spend time with your family, your loved ones, which I believe is the most important thing more than anything. So it's there.
well, thank you very much for coming on board. You are creating new awareness in my audience, who could not find me on Pinterest, and who knows where this the Pinterest idea will evolve with me, or whether I'm going to take my chance. Why not? So I'm already creating content. I might as well post it or
And
schedule
you
it.
can repurpose what you have. You don't have to create content. If you have something, you
Yeah,
can just repurpose that.
yeah. I realize that you'll be the go-to person I'm going to ask about a few tips and tricks. But thanks very much for your time. It's been amazing, and
It's my pleasure.
my aiming the message to be reaching millions of people. Thank you, and see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much.